Hey, hey, ProenzoVidz, mate. Seems like Manly Sea Eagles without Tommy Turbo this weekend, huh? What do you reckon about that, huh?
Remember last time we played as a Brookie, we put 50 on ya.
Howdy, everyone. It's Sam. I hope you're doing really well. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Round 15 is upon us, and in my opinion, it's the game of the round that myself and Mr. ProenzoVidz is going to be previewing for you guys right now. Manly Warringah Sea Eagles hosting the North Queensland Cowboys from Four Pines Park. And again, here to help me, ProenzoVidz, man. How you going? And thank you very much for helping me out tonight, dude.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm more than happy to come on the channel and preview the game. Should be a great game on Friday. Looking forward to it. And yeah, mate, I'm going really well. I'm going really well. And it seems like the hype's real. The hype is real for the game. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it's a good one.
Now, everybody, please go and check out ProenzoVidz's channel. The link will be chucked into the description box below after the event. And ProenzoVidzz, man, I just want to, before we go into the preview, I always like asking my guests a couple of questions on how and why and where and those sorts of questions. And just to people that don't know you and to give an introduction of yourself, I was just wondering, man, can you please tell us if you can, please tell us if you, how did you first get into Manly Sea Eagles, man?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool story. So basically, from a very young age, I guess that's where it all starts for most people. That I got influenced to go for Manly at a young age. I think it could have been a baby then. I'm not sure, but yeah, because on my mum's side, I that's where all the family is from, Northern Beaches, and I think from there I've been influenced to go for the club ever since. And I think that's just sort of where the love's from. Really, that's from the family side of things because I had a chance to go for the Dogs when I was young too, but I think Manly was more of a bit more of a thing that was said around the family. So that's why I probably stuck with them, which I'm probably glad about. So I think that's where it starts from. I think that's where it starts from, and obviously watching the grand finals too in 08 and 2011. That's also been a pretty big thing of why. Um, but yeah, my favorite players, looking at back in the day, we had the Stewart brothers, who I used to love watching when I could. Right now, the Trebojevic brothers, obviously my faves. Um, you got Jamie Lyon, Steve Maddai, Brent Kite was underrated back in the day too. Matt Ballon, Beaver Menzies. There's just so much talent, and there's a lot of. I think Manly are very privileged to have all these great players that have come through over the years. So they're something to name a few. But yeah, I've always loved Manly, and obviously got a whole channel dedicated to footy and Manly. So yeah, very passionate.
No, you worked very, very hard on your Instagram. You worked very hard for Manly, producing all the information and producing facts and photos on Instagram as well and on YouTube, bro. You work tirelessly. You are at 2000, what number? 2000.
500, I think.
Yo, man. So you're halfway to bloody
Yeah,
3K sort of thing, mate. So no,
pretty
man, you
much.
definitely deserve all the subscribers that you got, man, because you do work tirelessly. And for such a young man, I personally think that you actually have a really sound knowledge of the game of rugby league. And I do think that you are one of the more level-headed Manly Seagull supporters out there as well, bro. So I'm definitely happy and excited that you are on talking with me tonight. So it sounds like that your mum is the Manly Sea Eagles supporter that
Yes.
bloody sort of influenced you there. So what I'd like to ask you as well, what's the reaction to Brookvale Oval finally getting an upgrade with that Fulton Menzies stand, is it is it something that you're excited about, or is it something that you're cool with, but you want to see more done? What's your reaction to the recent upgrade out at Brookvale Oval, please?
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it definitely shows the history and the respect towards Fulton and what he did for the club. And I think just looking at because when I was there, obviously for twice this year, and I went to watch Manly play at Four Pines, seeing the stadium, the area where it's at, the new Centre of Excellence is yeah, it's beautiful. It really is. And I haven't actually been like around that part yet. I haven't some of the seats yet, but I'll be sure to next time when I'm there, try and get a couple of seats there, and hopefully, yeah, because people have enjoyed the view. I've seen a couple of Manly fans say that it's very nice, and it's somewhere that I think it's worth going to when you watch games, because you can see pretty much everything. It's a good view. So yeah, no, I definitely want to go there, and it's very good. I'm glad Manly invested into a centre of excellence. It's been a long time coming, I will say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For all the success that Manly have had for 20 years, since the mid 1990s until basically now, they have earned it. They have deserved it, and it's finally come around. And do you want to see more touched up to Brookvale Oval? Would you be opposed? And this is a question without notice, admittedly. I'm sorry, but would you be opposed to maybe the hill being sort of knocked down and made into a grandstand, or do you want to try and keep the hill out there at Brookvale Oval? How would you like to see Brookvale upgraded?
Well, actually, I've seen a couple of things that there's been recommendations about maybe getting rid of the hill and putting like another sort of grandstand there along the sort of area. So, I mean, I'm not against that. I think it's a fair idea because I guess the hill's been there for a long time, and I know it's history, but I think if we upgrade it to another grandstand, it would make the ground a bit more better, I should say. But I think because it's such a prestigious part of the ground, I don't think I would do it just yet.
Okay. Okay, no, thank you, man. And just some home games. What are some of the games that you've attended that really stick out to you? I know one of them. But what games at Brookvale or any other away games that you've attended? What really stick out in the memory bank for you, mate?
Well, I think I've talked about this a couple of times on many other shows, and yeah, I love talking about it because it's such a special game. And obviously, last year's probably the best game I've been to for Manly, I will say, and every other game I've been to. That was the Manly v Warriors round 5, 2021, where we were on that 4-game winning streak to start the season. It was obviously not an ideal or great start to the season, but I guess just getting that win and myself being there and their reactions and everything, where we won 13-12 with that DC field goal. It's special, and that's something that's something that footy's made about. It's made for memories. It's made for feel good moments like that, and that's something I'm never going to forget. And it's vlogged on the YouTube channel too, so you can always watch it back and replay it again. So I definitely think that's one of them. That definitely tops it off for me. But other games I've been to, like 2019 round 4, I think it was, or 3. Where we beat Souths by 1 point with a DC field goal. So I've pretty much experienced a couple of times where DCs came clutch, So, but yeah, I've been to a lot of good Manly games before, like this year too. So it's been good.
Gee whiz, that was a terrific game. That Golden Point game versus South Sydney. I remember that vividly, watching that on telly.
It was, and just how close Reynolds came to stealing it, but thanks to his misconversions, like we got in the end, in the end.
No, it was a great game. I've been to a couple of Manly Sea Eagles games myself, actually, Lorenzo. For those that don't know, I was there at the semi-final in 2012 where the Hand of Four the Hand of Four eventuated, bro. So I was there, and I don't hate Manly. I'm not someone that dislikes Manly. I really don't. But that semi-final period from 2007, where we played yous in the prelim, to the 2012 semi-final, we just couldn't get yous. Cowboys could not bloody get around Manly, and it was just always such a nightmare whenever we got drawn up against Manly, because either the Cowboys were injured or we had to play them in another freaking semi-final again. And your team back in the day, back in those late 2000s, early 2010s, were sensational. And one of the best grand final days I can recollect is 2008.
Has
For
to be.
me, 2008 grand final, not just because they flogged the Melbourne Storm, but I just think that was such an occasion that Manly won that premiership after 13 or 12 or so years, man. So you touched on it just before. Do you have any memories of 2008 or 2011, bro? Or how often does your, probably a lot, but how often does your family recollect it and talk about it, bro?
With 2008, I think I've only got very, very vivid memories of that because I was obviously very, very young. So I was kind
Yeah.
of, got less memories than that. But with 2011, I do sort of remember a bit more, only because I have seen photos, obviously, a bit more photos of myself watching the game from a young age and all that. So I do have those like sort of memories in the 2011 grand final. And that was a good grand final too, very underrated, I think. It gets brought up sometimes. I think the grand final of 2008 gets talked about a lot because obviously 40-0, biggest grand final in history. Can't complain with any of that. Um, yeah, I think it's definitely talked about. Obviously not talked about as it was maybe 14 years ago, but it's talked about quite a bit.
Alrighty. Now, let's get into what we're all friggin' here for, guys. This friggin' weekend, Manly Seagulls are hosting the North Queensland Cowboys. And Lorenzo, mate, can I please get you to go through your team list now, man? Starting from the top.
Too easy. So fullback is Ruben Garrick. On the wings, we've got Jason Saab and Christian Tuipulotu. In the centres, Morgan Harper and Tolatau Kula. In the halves, it's Kieran Ford and the returning Daly Cherry Evans at captain. The props are Josh Aloye and Tolfala Sipley. The hooker is Lachlan Croker. The back rowers are Hamoli Olokawatu and Andrew Davey. And Lock Jake Trbojevic. Onto the bench, it's Dylan Walker, Josh Houston, Martin Tapau and Sean Kippy. With the reserves being 18th man, Taniela Paseka, Ben Trbojevic, Ethan Bullymore, KO Wegs, and Kurt DeLewis.
Thank you, man. And for the North Queensland Cowboys, at fullback, Scott Drinkwater. The wingers are Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow and Murray Taulagi. Centres, Holmes and Hiku. Halves, Dearden, Townsend. The front row is McLean, Cotter, a returning Cotter, and Reece Robson. And the back row is Lemuelu, Jeremiah Nanai returning from Origin, and the captain, co-captain, Jason Tamalolo. And the interchange bench reads Jake Granville, Colin Hess, Jermaine Tanua-Brown, and Griffin Neem, and Ben Condon is floating around there in jersey number 18. Now, the recent history between Manly and North Queensland is not pretty reading for the Cowboys once more. The Manly Seagulls have won 5 of the past 6 encounters since 2017, and they made Manly made the Cowboys their bitches in 2021. They absolutely steamrolled this. This is the Cowboys have not won at Four Pines Park since 2018. That was when Jonathan Thurston played in his final season. And the last time that they did play, the Cowboys let in 50 points for the first time in 10 years against Manly Seagulls. So, yeah, dude, you got you got the wood on us. You're not friggin' wrong. It got splinters up my ass, ProenzoVidz. Fair income. So when I look at the first 2 players for me that instantly come to mind, and I'd like to get your reaction and sort of mid-season review on these 2 players, Lorenzo. Daly Cherry Evans returns from Origin duty. He slots in at halfback. For me this season, there have been a couple of games where he has not been his regular self, admittedly. But when he is on, like the game he was playing at Mudgee against the Canberra Raiders, he'll kick you to death and straight to the moon, Daly Cherry Evans. And also, I thought he was good last year, but we're only halfway through the season this year. And I think you know who I'm going to talk about. Hormali Olokawatu has gone to another level in 2022, in my opinion. I think he's probably had 2 man of the match performances in a row now. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah,
and he's on the cusp of a representative jersey, whether that be New South Wales or Tonga. Olakau'atu is the X factor in this game, but DCE is going to be, it is the captain, but he's also the commander as well, obviously.
definitely.
Lorenzo, man, what's just a review and reaction of Daly Cherry Evans and Olakau'atu's 2022 season so far, man?
I think with Olakau'atu, it's definitely some sort of improvement from last year. Obviously, last year he burst into the scene and more people getting to know him and stuff like that. And yeah, it was very dangerous last year. Obviously, coming onto the scene and being unknown at first is obviously interesting, but he's become a real big name in the game now. Definitely one of the best back rowers going around. And, with all due respect, I think he's a bit like Kikia, I think, in somewhat way.
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying he's better than him, obviously, but just with the strike in the back row, it's just someone that does come as someone similar to me. But this year, yeah, he's been great. This year, Olakau'atu, he's just on that edge of DCE, or most recently foreign. He's just been scary. He's scored 8 tries so far this season, I'm pretty sure. He's a really important part for Manly's success if we're to go anywhere this year. So got to have him healthy at all times. And as for DCE, well, look, DCE has always been DCE. I think he has had some off games this year where he may have done a bit better in some performances, but most of the time he's pretty good. Kicks really well, leads by example fairly well too. So I can't say much more about Cherry Evans. I mean, hopefully he has a big game this Friday because we'll need it against you blokes. So them two have been great this year, I think.
Nicely said, man. And just to everyone that's in the chat right now, I can see Paddy G, a fellow Manly Seagull supporter and YouTuber, is in the chat now. Nick from Australia Warriors, NRL Fanatics, Piripi Akwasi. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And please go and check out ProenzoVidz' channel if you haven't already subscribed to him. Go and check him out. And to this channel as well, man. The other man that I'd like to touch on and get your reaction on is Mr. Kieran Foran. Kieran Foran, man, had a resurrection last year. And I don't think he's dipped, but I just think he's just been a little bit quieter, but still having a really nice impact on the Manly Seagulls in 2022. Now, he's off to the Gold Coast Titans, and a lot of people think that that's where their careers go to die. Look, fingers crossed and touching wood that doesn't happen, but I think Kieran Foran, I think he's been great again in 2022, man. What's your thoughts on Kieran Foran so far, man, or overall?
This year, I think he's been good. I think I agree when you say he's been a little bit sort of, I guess, off in some games or been a little bit off in form. But I think he still does a job pretty much every week. Still gets those tries. He still has a impact and a pretty big one in the Manly side, as we can see by the last 2 games where DC was out and he was the halfback. He obviously leads by example really well. I guess maybe his form slump could have been because of the Titans game, maybe getting a little bit too comfortable, or maybe because he's signed there, I should say, instead. That maybe that's where he could be a little bit too complacent, maybe. But I think this year he's been good, and hopefully this form continues till he departs. So, yeah.
Yep. And just I want to touch on just 2 more players for you guys. And first one, Ruben Garrick. I think 3 years ago, man, I'm sure he already made his debut by then in 2020, sort of thing. And he made his debut in 2019. Thank you, man. And he's just come in from absolutely nowhere and has done such a terrific job for you blokes. He is, I don't want to say he's one of my favorite players, but fair dinkum, I've got so much time and respect and appreciation for Ruben Garrick and what he's done. He is such a good, tough little player. And the other gentleman that I'd like to touch on as well is Jake Trbojevic. His numbers are down. It's something like this is not last week, but it was the week before, I'm certain. I read somewhere or heard somewhere that he only hit the ball up maybe 8 times for approximately 60 meters. That's a really rough estimate. That's off the top of the head, but it seems Jake Trbojevic isn't providing that sort of punch as I heard, and he's just more of a defensive style player. Dude, I just want you to touch on Ruben Garrick and Jake Trbojevic for us, man.
Yeah, well, as you said with Garrick, he's just forever reliable. I think what's impressed me is that he's always been a good winger. Like he's always been great on the wing. Like he's scores tries and does really good kicks for conversions. But I think what's really impressed me the most is that he's now warming to that fullback role. Obviously, with Turbo out for the rest of the season, he's he's sort of getting a bit more comfortable. I think he's looking to run the ball a bit more, looking to pass at the right times, and I think that's good because he will be important when Turbo's out again. I think because Garrick's reliable, he's definitely someone that I think is on the track or on the verge, hopefully, of getting a representative sort of jersey soon, hopefully. But we'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, Garrick's been great this year. This is his one of his better years too. I think he's backed up his 2021 form, so been impressed with him. And as for Jake, can be better. I will put it that way. Can be better. We know what Jake's capable on his day. Good ball playing lock. Don't get me wrong. Good ball playing lock, but he doesn't have the X factor as a lock. Unfortunately, he doesn't have like the speed or anything. But I think when you talk about Jake, I think you look at him being more of an effort player more than a stats player. If you know what I mean. That's I think that's kind of makeup of the player Jake is. So look, I think he's a big part of Manly, especially defensively. But yeah, his form has been a little bit off. I've noticed that too, unfortunately. But yeah, he was good last 2 weeks though.
Now we're going to shift into the North Queensland Cowboys now, man, and I really wanted it to happen, but it didn't happen, and I was going to rub it all in your face, ProenzoVidz, that Luciano Leilua could have been a part of the 17-man team this Friday night. Could have, should have, but ain't. So that sucks. Now, I hyped up that Tom Gilbert was going to line up on Olakau'atu the entire week. And for me, that was going to be the matchup of the round. No, it wasn't going to be as skillful as a DCE versus Chad Townsend matchup is going to be on Friday night. But those two Bulls smashing into each other for 80 minutes on Friday night would have been so good to watch. It would have been so good to watch. However, Connolly Lemuelu is lining up against Olakau'atu this Friday night, and Lemuelu, he's only really made his presence felt over the past couple of weeks, being out of the team for the first 10 weeks, basically, and only really coming in to the foray over the past couple of weeks. And he has a massive and absolutely enormous assignment on his hands. He is going to be having Tom Dearden on one side of him, on his inside, I imagine, and on his outside of him, he's going to have Valentine Holmes lining up with him to try and shut down Olakau'atu. So when I mentioned Tom Dearden, Lemuelu, and Valentine Holmes, ProenzoVidz, man, what's your reaction to their defense systems, and do you think Olakau'atu can? What is another Cowboys player that you would like the coach Desi Hasler to highlight for this weekend's matchup?
Yeah, I think what's interesting for me is that Lemuelu is starting on that side. I thought it'd be Nanai playing that side personally, but I think he's the right side if I'm correct. So yeah, as you said, he does have a big task, Lemuelu. Hopefully he's up for it, because Olakau'atu being charged him all night, it's not going to be easy. So I think Dean's impressed me with his defense this year, because I've always thought his defense was a bit suspect at times, but I think he's obviously worked very hard on that in the off season, and I think it's paid off, as we can see, for his form this year. So I don't think he should be too worried if he backs himself. But I think it's just Lemuelu that I'm a bit worried about, because it's his first time. Is it his first time starting this year? Because
it would be, yes.
Yeah. So how he goes in terms of prep for starting up against Olakau'atu and all that, where he's going to be targeted, it's going to be interesting. But I'm sure Des will know that's the side to go to, and I think Holmes will have him covered. But it's just that side, I think, is the weaker side than the right side. But No, but look, honestly, your team's pretty good. Like, there's not many weak spots in that side. It's a very well stable team. I'm not going to lie, and um, yeah, I can't see where our target would be. Maybe a kick towards Saab on Hamisa's side, but yeah, other than that, I can't really see too much cracks through the lineup.
Gee whiz, wouldn't it be friggin' amazing? And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure this is the side that Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow and Jason Saab are lining up against one another this weekend. Am I correct?
Yes, they are. Far
Bro,
as
if there is like a break in play and one of them has to chase the other, what what 100-meter sprint that could be. It's going to be a really good game. Now, what really has taken me by surprise, by just reading up on some of the stats coming in to our preview, is that Manly, I was sort of surprised by this, that Manly are actually completing better than the North Queensland Cowboys are at this current stage. Now, I think
wow.
Cowboys were on top maybe 6 weeks ago or so, but the Cowboys have dropped off, and Seagulls are sitting in either third or fourth position as far as being the best completionists in the NRL, sitting at about
Pretty
79,
good.
78% as well. And considering the start that Manly had, that's a really good turnaround. So Desi Hasler has corrected the ship, man. And the other person, if you don't mind, that I'd like for you to touch on, bro. Jason Talmalolo, mate. ProenzoVidz, is that the man that you most want to have laser focused on this weekend?
I would say so. Yes, I would say so. If he's on, I'll tell you what. If he's on, he's on, and it's going to be really hard stopping him. So I think the battle between him and Jake's going to be something else if both of them turn up for the game. So yeah, mate. I think Tamalolo is going to be going to hopefully not, but wouldn't be surprised if he runs for 200 meters because that's the type of player he is. So yeah, it'd be a good battle actually.
And just one last thing as well, man. Oh, gee whiz, it's just escaped my mind. I apologize.
That's
Anyway, I was going to ask my last question anyway, but I've freaking forgotten it. Let's move in. Let's move into the main event. Hey, let's move into the crux of the
yeah.
matter. Who's going to win? What's the score going to be? Do we have an anytime try scorer as well, mate?
I do too. I do as well. So my tip, I've got Manly by 4. I think we'll win because it's at a cold brookie on a Friday night. Cowboys haven't played so much in Sydney this year. I think we've got a chance. So while it is tough, I'm going to back the boys to win. As for, I'll give my first anytime try scorers. How about that? So my first try scorer, we'll go to the Cowboys. I think Holmes will score first. I can see him getting a try.
Sure.
And anytime, I think Tuipulotu is a safe bet for me to go with anytime try scorer. I think I also think Hamiso might get a try as well, just down that sideline with his pace. And if I was going for one more for Manly, I think Olakawatu, man was talking about, will score.
So the final score line, mate. What's the final score you reckon?
I said by 4, so I'll go 18-14.
18-14 scoreline. Okay, no worries. So got it back the boys. I'm going to go
Yeah,
tipping the North Queensland Cowboys to get the dub. I think that their
fair
defense
enough.
can be better than Manly Seagulls' defense. Not saying, though, that Manly are going to be kept out because obviously they put 30-odd points on the West Tigers this past weekend. I can see a scoreline of something to the tune of 24 points to 14. I don't think they're going to break the 13-plus barrier, but I do think that they can end up having a nice victory in the end with maybe 5 minutes or so to go. But it's going to be incredibly, incredibly tough. And here's another thing too: the entire round this weekend, after this weekend, the NRL stops for 2 weeks because the international representatives round
That's
is on next weekend. So with players like a Reece Robson, who is on the cusp, is a bee's dick away from being selected into the New South Wales Origin squad. I expect Reece Robson to come out, score an anytime try against the Manly Seagulls, and he is in try scoring form as well. So I
yeah,
expect everybody from both sides to go hell for leather because they're all about to have a 2-week break besides the Origin representatives and those that are selected to play in the international test footy weekend next weekend. I think this is going to be such a great game of footy. I do think that Cowboys can win. I know you think Manly can win, and vice versa. I think this is one of the real flip of the coins, but I am going to go Cowboys. Reece Robson, anytime try scorer, and Cowboys to win 24 points to 14. ProenzoVidz, man, thank you so much for joining me tonight, bro. Just any last final words on this weekend and your YouTube channel, please.
Oh no, thanks again, Sam. It's great to come on your channel again. I think it's been a little while since I last came on, but no, it's always good. It's always a pleasure coming on and chatting all things. Chatting obviously about the game this weekend. It's going to be great, and I hope it's a good game. Hopefully, the hype that we're, like I said at the start, hopefully the hype we're getting right now is what's reflected on Friday. So yeah, may the best team win, and yeah, thanks to everyone for watching, and just to find me wherever you want. Yeah, obviously YouTube, ProenzoVidz, 250 subs, and I've got Instagram and Twitter too, so go and shut me a follow there if you want.
Sweet as, man. Thank you again. I'll link the description to ProenzoVidz's Instagram, YouTube as well, and Twitter. After this stream is done, thank you to everyone in the chat right now. They are going off in the chat right now. I sort of just want to sit back and just let them go hell for leather sort of things. So you guys have been great. Banter's all good. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys later. Adios. Thank you.
See everyone.